did the Knights Templar ever really disappear? By the year 1312, the Knights Templar officially no longer existed. Their properties were seized, their leaders imprisoned, their reputation damaged by accusations that spread across Europe and on paper. One of the most powerful organizations of the medieval world had vanished. But history rarely ends as cleanly as documents suggest across France. Templar commanderies were closed across Europe. Their lands were reassigned, and their Grand Master Jacques de Molay was later executed in Paris to many observers at the time. This looked like the final chapter of the order. But something unusual happened next. Their symbols did not disappear across Portugal. Former Templars continued serving inside the Order of Christ. Their estates remained active, their structure remained organized, and their influence continued into the age of exploration, which meant at least part of the order had survived the destruction of 1312, not secretly, but officially, under a different name. So, if the order survived in Portugal, where else might its influence have continued? Earlier traditions suggested some Templars may have traveled north before the arrests began, possibly towards Scotland, possibly toward lands beyond the reach of the French crown, while historians continue debating these claims. One detail remains difficult to ignore. Some Templar assets disappeared before investigators arrived, and they were never recovered, which raises an important question. What exactly vanished along with them? The Knights Templar had controlled more than castles and cavalry. They managed financial networks across kingdoms, protected trade routes across continents, and stored documents connecting rulers, estates, and alliances across Europe. If even part of that network survived the arrests, its influence may have continued long after the order itself disappeared, quietly, and without its original name, centuries later. Another organization appeared whose traditions included secrecy, symbolism, and ritual structure: Freemasonry. Some historians believe there may be connections between the two groups, others strongly disagree. And no direct evidence has ever confirmed the link, but the question continues to appear whenever the legacy of the Knights Templar is discussed. Why do similar symbols continue appearing centuries after the order was dissolved? Even their reputation changed over time. Once feared, then condemned, later admired, and eventually transformed into legend. Stories began appearing about hidden treasure, lost knowledge, secret archives, and unexplained voyages across unknown oceans. Some of those stories remain debated today, others remain unsolved, and some may never be answered at all. Yet one fact remains clear: for nearly 200 years, the Knights Templar operated across Europe, the Mediterranean, and the Holy Land with unusual independence. They answered only to the Pope. They controlled international finance before modern banking existed, and they defended territories few armies could hold. Organizations with that level of influence rarely disappear without leaving traces behind. Today, their castles still stand, their symbols still appear carved in stone across Europe, and their story continues to attract historians searching for answers to questions first asked more than 700 years ago. Because the destruction of the Knights Templar may not have ended their influence, it may only have changed its form. So the final mystery remains the same one investigators faced in 1307. Did the Knights Templar truly disappear? Or did they simply become something else? In our next series, we begin investigating what the Knights Templar may have been searching for beneath the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, and why those missing 10 years remain one of the greatest mysteries in medieval history. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. See you in the next story.